She's your chair lady that put this evening together with very little help from the rest of us. Your master of ceremony, and perhaps if they move up the way things have done in the past, our new chair lady, Liz Whitney.
Thank you, Jim, for your kind words. Good evening, everyone. I feel kind of really short behind this really tall podium. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight and joining us this evening at our very first Lincoln Day dinner. I'd also like to extend a amazing thank you to the rest of the committee, Joan Enderle. Come on, Joan, stand up. Al Pronovo and Jim Pillow. They worked very closely with me to make this evening happen. And I'd also like to thank all the members of the Meriden Republican Town Committee, because that's how all of you got here. So thank you, each and every member. I appreciate it. Well, in case you haven't heard, Meriden elected a Republican mayor for the first time in 40 years. We didn't elect a politician, but we elected a man who loves his community and believes that the government should work for the people. Mayor Santos is a product of hard work and determination, a true American success story. He grew up in very humble conditions with no electricity, no running water. He immigrated to the United States from Portugal with his family, and he attended Hartford Public Schools. He enlisted in the Marine Corps and served in the Gulf War. And when he left, then he went to UConn, and he got his degree in engineering. Then, and most importantly, and I think his wife would agree with me, he fell in love with his wife, Mary Ann. They got married, they had a family, they settled down in Meriden, and well, you know the rest of the story. But he's been here for the last 17 years, and he's called Meriden his home. And he believes in the future of the city and the people in the city. So, after 30 years, it gives me the greatest pleasure to introduce to you Mayor's Republican Mayor, Manny Santos.
Thank you so much for that welcoming. Firstly, welcome to the city of Meriden. Welcome to all the elected officials and candidates. I am compelled to recognize the contingent from Bridgeport. We have several folks there. We are barely in Meriden, so actually, if you go to bathrooms over there, you'll be in Wallingford. So if anything happens over there, I can't help you. Free enterprise, limited government, individual freedom, and individual responsibility. These ought to be fundamental principles of our Republican Party. So I want to speak briefly about leadership. The following is a quote by a famous business leader. Let's see if you can recognize who this is. Leaders are made, not born. Leadership is forged in times of crisis. It's easy to sit there with your feet up on the desk and talk theory. You don't get anything or anywhere by standing on the sidelines waiting for somebody else to take action. Whether it's building a better car or building a better future for our children, we all have a role to play. Can anybody guess who said that?
Joe Biden.
Lee Iacocca, that's right. Give that lady an ice cream. Lee Iacocca, the legendary chairman of Chrysler Corporation. That was from his book, Where Have All the Leaders Gone? If you are concerned, perhaps even outraged with the direction this nation is heading, blame our politicians, Democrats and Republicans. Too many elected officials do not promote freedom. They are polarized, or rather, they are paralyzed by accusations of racism, intolerance, and the desire to be liked. Doing the right thing, perhaps upholding the Constitution and our liberties. Doing the right thing is not always easy or even popular, but always necessary. If good people do not run for office, we will be ruled by the bad. What will occur? What will occur first? The damaging, intrusive government liberals taking over, or freedom-loving individuals like us giving up? In the spirit of freedom, I'll touch on Abraham Lincoln. As this is the Meriden Republicans Lincoln Day dinner, I'd like to share some facts that you may or may not have heard about Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln is enshrined in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Lincoln created the Secret Service hours before his assassination.
Excuse me.
A mayor working for us.
Call a leader.
Here's a very interesting fact. John Wilkes Booth's brother saved the life of Lincoln's son. Search that one. Lincoln is the only president to have obtained a patent. Lincoln personally test-fired rifles outside the White House. Can't do that today. Lincoln never slept in the Lincoln bedroom. Abraham Lincoln was elected to state office for only one term. He served only 2 years. Before he became a lawyer, he taught himself law and took the bar exam without ever going to college. He practiced law for several years and eventually became a lobbyist and attorney for a railroad company. In 1854, Congress passed a law that would let individual states and territories to decide for themselves whether to allow slavery. This brought the rise of the Republican Party, of which Lincoln joined. He later ran for U.S. Senate, but lost. However, he left quite an impression on the public, and 2 years later was nominated as the Republican candidate for president. And we all know he won. A man that came from essentially obscurity to educating himself and becoming the father of the Republican Party. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today. And we have a dynamic speaker in Wayne Winsley. But first, who do I hand this over to now? Liz. Thank you so much.